Welcome back, guys. In this lesson, we are going to tackle our dear slider right here, and more specifically, the Battle Pass slider script. Okay, so let's first open the Battle Pass system, because we need to have a look at some things here. So at start, inside of the awake method, we do store the components, right? This is something really important to do because we want to use them. So we store the slider by grabbing it from the current game object. Okay? Then, inside of the initialize method, we initialize some components. So let's hold Control and click this. We initialize the slider inside of this method right here. What do we do specifically? Well, we first check if the season has been completed or not, because if the season has been completed, we are going to have a different behavior for our slider. Otherwise, we calculate the slider value and the maximum slider value depending on the relative XP that we've calculated previously, remember, right here. Sorry for your eyes. And we also grab the max slider value by grabbing the required XP of that current season day. Got it? Pretty simple, huh? So let's now have a look at the initialize method. Boom, here we go. This is the Battle Pass slider class now. We've got the slider and some texts. When initializing the slider, we check, as I have told you, if the season has been completed or not. If that's the case, we are going to call the max level reached method, which is right here. We set the minimum value to 0, the maximum value to 1, and the current value to 1. This will give the illusion that the slider is filled. We actually fill the slider. We also update the level text with the current level, and we set up the XP text with a true boolean. What does that mean? If the boolean here is true, we are simply going to set the XP text string or text to a blank string. So we are basically hiding the XP text. Otherwise, we are going to use the slider.value with a / and the max value of the slider. Okay? So the slider value here is the relative XP. Got it? We're good? Nice. So let's jump back to our initialize method. When initializing the slider, if the season has not been completed yet, we set the max value, we set the value, we update the texts and the XP text, like we've just seen right now. And by the way, we can actually collapse the max level reached, the update visual slider.value. Yeah, we haven't tackled this one, but we have covered this one and this one. Basically right here, we're simply changing the level text. Really simple. Okay, so updating the visual. This one is a public method. It's not called inside of this script, okay? It is actually called inside of the Battle Pass system. So we can click on Shift F12, okay? And we can notice that indeed it is inside of the Battle Pass system. This is whenever we change the XP or update it. So we are basically passing in the visual XP, which is the relative XP, okay? Really simple. Okay, cool. We are almost done for the slider now. We just have this one to cover because we've just covered the initialize method. Really cool. And this one is used whenever we configure the slider after we level up. The target XP is 0, okay? And if we've reached the max level, we are going to call the max level reached like we've done in the initialize method. Otherwise, we set the minimum value to 0, and we set the maximum value to the target XP. So that's the required XP of the day. And we also set the value to 0, okay? And same thing as we've seen previously. I just have a quick note here. What we can actually do, what the heck? Oh, it has collapsed the whole class. What we can actually do right here, you can notice that we set the minimum value to 0 in here, and also, and not in the initialize method. So we can basically grab this line and drop it inside of the initialize method. We do it every time. So we can save some space or some lines. We can do something like this and also remove it from here. Cool. At this point, we can close the Battle Pass slider, and maybe we can have a look at all of the places where we call the slider. So we call it in the, I'm going to hit Control-C, Control-F to look for all of the instances. Hit Enter. Okay, so we've got slider here. Cool. In the level up method, we configure it after level up with the target XP and the level. Perfect. We do use it or configure it after reaching the max level. Nice. This is the reference. Okay, this is where we store it. This is where we initialize it. And this is where we update the visual after updating the XP. So we are now good for the slider. Perfect. In the same vein, we can have a look at the badger because it's actually really simple and it's linked to the slider. Let me show you. So the badger helps change this sprite right here. If we develop or expand the script right here, we can notice that we have an array of badges and we have a reference to the the badge image right here. Okay? It's really simple. We just update it depending on the level. So we can open it really quickly. Battle Pass Badger, really cool. We initialize it like we've done for the slider. So depending on the level, we update the visuals. And inside of here, we grab the minimum between the level -1 because we start from level 1. Remember, we give the first reward for free. And the maximum should be badges.length -1. We've got 30 badges currently. So it means that if you've got more than 30 rewards or days, let's say 31, we are going to use the last badge for that level. If you want to add more badges, feel free to do so. And yep, it means that we are done for the badger. For the initialization in the Battle Pass system, we've done pretty much what we've done for the slider. So we are using it right here. We store the component, okay? We do initialize it in the initialize components method. We update the visuals in the level up method. And that's it. Really cool. Okay, so in the next one, let's tackle the season timer because this is a very important piece of the system. See you there.